Hey everybody, it's your boy Sarad. Um, I'm coming at you today. Was doing some thinking and looking at all the bad news out there and all the things that are going on. As a Christian, I started thinking to myself, all this stuff going on, it would probably test the faith of a lot of seasoned Christians and a, a lot of infant or new Christians or people who don't know about Christianity or even God would be looking and have questions, about how all this craziness and all these things that are going on. And that made me start thinking even deeper because I know that they probably have these questions like, how can a good God, the God of love, God is love, and how could he allow all the atrocities, all the bad things that man have been allowed to do, all the Greenwoods, Rosewoods, the Arkansas massacres, and beyond that, you got the World War I, World War II, you got the Holocaust, you got the dropping the bomb on Hiroshima in Japan, and you got the African genocides, and then black on black crime, and then little girls being killed with their own roller skates, and then George Floyd, and all these atrocities. How in the world a good God would allow such evil? I have to rationalize this to myself. Years ago, before all this craziness, a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I was younger, from a teen up until probably about 21, so I was an atheist, had no belief in God, or I come from a very diverse, I don't say crazy family, but we had extremes in our family, and so I had open views, and so I started doing some studying for myself because I didn't want a preacher to tell me. I didn't want anybody to tell. I had to find out on my own. And so I studied with Jehovah's Witnesses. I studied with the Muslims. I studied with the Christian Baptists, the evangelicals, and the whole nine. And I came up with the conclusion and became a believer. And so from that perspective, I told you that from this perspective, this is how I rationalize how a good God, because I had that question once upon a time. I had that question as an atheist: how could a good God allow such evil? When we watch a movie, you go to a movie and it's a real good movie, and you're watching, and you see the main character going through all these things, and it might be a war movie or some thriller, and you see the people shooting, and he killed the bad guy, or even sometimes the good guy get killed, and they fall down, or explosions, and you see people dying in the movie. And in the movie, you never see anybody in the movie theater get up and start crying and hollering and tearing out the seats and going hysterical, maybe even burning down the theater because of the movie, because they saw some horrible thing on the movie screen. No, you don't see that. You know why? Because everybody knows when they go watch a movie, at some point, at the end of filming that movie or that scene, no matter how horrible it is, how mind-blowing or evil it may seem, the director at some point says, cut. And you know that all the actors got up and went on to do another scene, or went home that night, or went on to something else. And that's my perspective. I believe, from what I read in the Bible, that I read 3 times, that from my perspective, how God can sit back and let all the things that man think he is doing, let us do what we do. Because at some point he's going to say, cut. And all that has died in him will raise up. And then will be judged accordingly. Some people meant things for evil. God meant it for good. And I also keep this in my mind as I wrap up. At one point, when Job was being persecuted and doing all the things, he was tested by Satan. At one point, he questioned God. And then God started giving Job, started rolling out his resume. He says, where were you, Job, when I set the foundations of the earth and told the oceans, you can't come any further than here? And when I set the stars in the sky, and I put all this, and I did this, and I did that. And then Job started shrinking and getting real small and realized that maybe he should just shut up. We don't know what God's plan is. Our mind is not equipped. We can't even handle God's business. So I let God do his thing. Sometimes it blows my mind, but I have to remind myself, someday he's going to yell, cut. So guys, seek for yourself, judge each tree by its fruit. This world we're living in, I just know some way, somehow, man makes it. And I have faith that the good outweighs the bad. I've said this in other videos. There's way farther more good than bad, but only bad news makes the news. And so be strong. Don't take in too much of the negative news from CNN or Fox, or just go outside and open the window sometime and look at the blue sky and know that that's oxygen, and that you're still able to walk if you can walk, or you're still in your clear mind, and count your blessings. It's going to be all right. I promise you it's going to be all right. I just wanted to reach out to people who may be just under a whole lot of pressure, or just all the bad news that's being constantly bombarded, and just give you a little ray of hope from this old crazy mind. All right, it's your boy Sir Rod. I'm wishing you guys nothing but love, peace, and blessings, and be strong. And until next time, peace.